Daniel Zellhuber looking to get back in the win column after losing back-to-back fights and starting his MMA career 15-1. Taking on the UFC veteran King Green, coming off a split decision win in his last fight. All full of energy going into this one. Late round one, Green lands a left hand and slips a punch, then taunts Zellhuber. A few minutes later, Green and Zellhuber exchanging shots in the middle of the octagon. Green keeps talking trash afterwards. And coming out round two, Green continues to trash talk Zellhuber. Late round two, Green that wobbles Zellhuber. Then later on, Green landing a combination, then a straight left hand that drops Zellhuber. Ooh! Green follows up with a flurry of uppercuts against the cage. And moments later, Green lands multiple unanswered shots. The fight is stopped. Green finishes Zellhuber in the second round to earn his 34th career win in MMA. His first win via stoppage since 2023. In the flyweight division, Edgar Chairez enters with a 100% finish rate in his 12 MMA wins. In his way, Felipe Bunez, who's lost 2 of his last 3 fights, but has 10 first-round finishes on his resume. Early round one, Bunez gets on the back of Chairez and stayed mountain for most of the round. Final seconds of round one, Chairez flips over and drops Bunez on his back to end the round. Dominant performance in that first round. Now, after a close round two, it came down to the final round. Early round three, Chairez lands a spinning elbow, but that was nasty. 2 minutes later, Chairez uppercut and some follow-up shots. Final seconds of the fight, Chairez, a spinning kick to the face. He follows it up with another uppercut, chasing the finish before the bell. After a back-and-forth fight, Edgar Chairez wins via split decision, his first career win via decision. Imanol Rodriguez making his UFC debut after earning a UFC contract on Dana White's Contender Series. Taking on Kevin Borjas, who has lost 3 of his last 4 fights in UFC action. Early round one, Borjas drops Rodriguez with a left hook and starts to go for the finish. Woo! Moments later, Borjas lands an overhand right and drops Rodriguez again. He's got all the momentum. 10 seconds later in the clinch, Rodriguez trips Borjas to the mat to secure a takedown to survive the round. The heavy favorite makes it out of round one, and the tides turn in round two. Late round two, Rodriguez shoots in, lands a combination on Borjas, and then moments later, Rodriguez pouring it on, lands a glancing right hand that drops Borjas. Woo! Rodriguez follows up with multiple shots until the fight is stopped. What a comeback! Ice cold. Even though Rodriguez improves to 7-0. Woo! Look at that backflip. This time by a second round TKO. All 7 career wins via stoppage. First fight of the main card in the bantamweight division. Santiago Luna coming in a perfect 7-0 with a 100% finish rate in his MMA career, taking on 34-year-old Angel Pacheco, who hasn't fought in 700 days after dealing with multiple injuries. Late round one, Luna gets Pacheco against the cage and lands a flurry of punches. A dominant first round from Luna. Late round two, Luna again on the attack, applying pressure, landing clean shots after clean shots on Pacheco against the cage. Pacheco showing the wear and tear on his face. Late round three, Luna attempts a guillotine choke on Pacheco, but Pacheco manages to slip out. After a dominant performance, Santiago Luna is the winner via unanimous decision. He improves to 8-0 in his professional MMA career. In his first UFC headliner event, Lone'er Kavanagh takes down former 2-time flyweight champion Brandon Moreno on 3 weeks' notice and in the home country of Moreno, and it really wasn't even close when you think about how much he dominated Moreno with the strikes there, using his kickboxing background as well. What a victory for Lone'er Kavanagh. And CBS Sports HQ is fueled by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast as we welcome in CBS Sports combat writer Shaq Mahjouri and CBS Sports combat analyst Hayden Iverson. And gentlemen, Lone'er Kavanagh put everybody on notice after this fight because I wasn't expecting it. I know y'all weren't. Shaq, I'll start with you. How surprised were you by the way Lone'er Kavanagh was able to exploit Brandon Moreno and take him down.
You know, UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria was once on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he said, look out for this Kavanagh kid. He is going to be a major player at flyweight. Turns out the champ has a great eye for talent because he completely outsmarted me on this one. And it's not that I didn't think that Kavanagh had the potential, but like you talked to Bisping about, the deck was stacked against Loney in just about every way, right? His first time fighting a former champion. He's doing this at elevation when he's not known to have the best gas tank. His first 5-round fight. All of this coming on 3 weeks' notice off of a knockout loss. Like, Lone'er Kavanagh, on paper, should not have won this fight. It doesn't mean that he wasn't going to have moments of success, and we thought that he was going to do well early, and we saw that play out. But the fact that he was able to sustain it as well as he did. Sure, in rounds 3 and 4, Moreno managed to hold him up against the fence more, but considering all of the things that Lonnie had to overcome to even get to the fight, the fact that he arguably, in my mind, won all 5 rounds, I think anywhere from 3-2 Kavanagh to 5-0 Kavanagh is appropriate in this case. It really shows how narrow a few of those middle frames were. Speaks volumes, man. I was so impressed by Kavanagh's ability to stay in the pocket and just move in and out slightly. There were no wasted motions. His counters were on point. Nothing was looping. He is a phenomenal striker. He's been kickboxing since he was 8 years old, and you can tell the fact that his takedown defense held up the way that did, the way that he was receptive to his coaches reminding him to keep his hands up after that KO loss in his last fight, shows me that this is a kid who takes feedback well. He can absorb and apply information, and that bodes potential disaster for the rest of the flyweight division.
Yeah, these are the type of performances that we need to see from these young prospects, coming back from a loss, a knockout loss at that, and then taking on a short notice opportunity against a former champion and showing up and performing like he did is very impressive. And what was most impressive to me was the confidence that he had early on in the fight. Bisping talked about it, where you could go into that cage coming off a loss and not really feel like yourself, but he looked so sharp, and the early damage that he did in the fight ultimately carried along into round 3 and round 4 and round 5, to where Brandon Moreno couldn't really do anything. Those leg kicks added up early. The blood on Moreno's face carried over into the rounds. I'm sure he was having a tough time breathing with all that blood, and he turned Brandon Moreno into a cage stalling grappler. We have never seen that from Brandon Moreno. So the sharpness from Kavanagh early really allowed himself to, I don't want to say coast later in the fight, but not have to exert as much energy as he would if there was a fresh Brandon Moreno in his face in round 3, round 4, and round 5. So extremely impressive for Kavanagh. And now he's going to be in the top 10 of the division after not even being ranked. So where does he go from here?
Yeah, I don't know, but only can go up. Only can go up when you look at the confidence. And like you guys said earlier, you're worried about if he'd be too aggressive, if he would lose gas. He doesn't lose gas. He's able to be aggressive and still hold on for the unanimous victory. Just very impressive for that 26-year-old. Now, in the bantamweight division, you had Marlon Vera versus David Martinez. And it was David Martinez beating Cheeto over 5 rounds via unanimous decision to win his 10th straight fight. How would you describe the run Martinez is on right now, Hayden?
I mean, it's extremely impressive. I mean, I really thought we saw a primed version of Cheeto Vera tonight, because we've seen him come out and be slow, but there was an intentional aggression early on for Cheeto where he was not going to allow David Martinez to just pop shot him and move. But the thing is, David Martinez is extremely good at that, and he was able to still do it. As the fight progressed, Cheeto started to close that range a little bit more. But the fact that this guy can do what he does for 15 minutes is extremely impressive. I don't know that if anyone has tried to go out and move that much in a cage and not get tired. It's extremely tough to do. And the fact that he does it at this level, we're talking the top 10 of the bantamweight division, which is one of the toughest weight classes in the entire UFC. And I'm just extremely impressed with this guy, because when you have that type of fighting style, you're going to be able to win a lot of fights, because nobody is going to be able to win minutes on you. They're going to have to finish you. And going up against a guy that has that many knockouts in the UFC, to not really be in any sort of danger throughout the fight, I can't say enough good things about David Martinez after that one.
Granted, it was a near perfect performance for Martinez, but in the last couple there, Cheeto really started to come alive, and we kind of saw something similar happen with Rob Font, right? This is 2 fights now where you're getting 29-28 decisions. Now, that is so incredibly impressive for a fighter 3 fights into the UFC to already be beating ranked opposition in the top 10 in any means. However, this is where we need to start seeing another level for David Martinez, because it's only going to get tougher from here. And we've seen with guys like Merab Dvalishvili and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, weaponizing cardio is one of the best things you can do in MMA. But when that starts to falter, can you still win the fight? The fact that we saw Martinez slow down, granted this is in Mexico at high elevation, and maybe that doesn't happen if he's fighting in other parts of the world. But as he starts getting these opportunities to fight for 25 minutes, like we saw with Kavanagh, you have to be able to extend that formula through the duration of the fight. Martinez is a very physical guy, is a very athletic guy. He's constantly bouncing on his feet. He's packed with muscle. He does such a good job of keeping his back off the fence. But when that starts to wane, he needs to have other answers, or he needs to make that cardio bulletproof. Because as he starts fighting guys in 5-round fights who are in the top 5, top 6 of the division, he can't afford to start giving up those last few minutes, because people might make him pay in a way that Cheeto didn't manage to.
Yeah, in his 4th pro MMA fight, he is now 4-0 in his home country of Mexico. So, yes, still work for him to be done, but on this night, he gets the victory. How about the King, though? The always exciting 39-year-old King Ring put on a strong performance, earning himself his first win via stoppage since 2023. Hayden, what did you make of the performance for the veteran?
I mean, I loved it. I mean, I watch Bobby Green or King Green fight, and I'm just impressed every time out, because he puts on a show, whether he's going for the takedowns, whether he's just on the back foot doing whatever he does. I mean, it's just so entertaining. And the fact that he's able to go in there as a huge underdog into enemy territory against a guy in Zellhuber who might be a failed prospect at this point, but at one point was looked at as the next big thing from Mexico. And not to just win a decision, but to actually knock the guy out. I mean, the guy had never been stopped in however many fights. Huber's got that Mexican chin. And to stop him in his home country and really just outclass him for the entirety of the fight was extremely impressive for him to be 39 years of age, still doing it, still very active as well. He's not one of these guys that fights once or twice a year. He just fought back in December. I mean, this guy's ready to fight at any point. And then, of course, the post-fight speech. This guy's just the most entertaining 39-year-old lightweight that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really a sight to see, you know, keeping that exuberance and that youthful spirit out there for the main stage. Now, earlier in the main card, you had Imanol Rodriguez taking the hard route to improve to 7-0 on Saturday night. After nearly getting finished in the first round, Rodriguez rallied back to win it via second-round knockout to remain perfect in his MMA career. All wins coming via stoppage. Shaq, I'll start with you. What does the future look like for the 26-year-old flyweight?
Bright, but I say that with some hesitation. That's not because his victory wasn't impressive, but the UFC are shark-infested waters, right? There's this catch-22 that happens where to get into the UFC, you need to be dominating regional-level competition. You should be knocking guys out. You should be submitting them. That's what it takes to get to the next level. But Imanol, so early into his MMA career, is now at this point, and the quality of competition gets so much tougher. It doesn't matter if you're fighting a guy who's not going to be ranked. The lowest unranked contenders in the UFC are still going to give 90% of regional prospects a run for their money, and that's what you saw in that first round where Rodriguez almost got knocked out. So there's still work for him to be done, and he's going to have to figure it out very quickly at this level, but he has an incredible team behind him. He's working with DC, Daniel Cormier, the former 2-division champ, UFC Hall of Famer. Clearly he has knockout power. He knows when to turn on the aggression, and we saw now that he has both chin and heart, so that's going to serve, but it's not going to be an easy road moving forward.
A memorable night in Mexico City, just a absolute stunning class of action in Mexico City. Shaq Mahjouri, Hayden Iverson, always appreciate the insight, gentlemen. And remember, Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC Say goodbye to pay-per-view and hello to Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com to get started and experience a mountain of entertainment.